Have you ever left the house 5 minutes later than you should and told yourself, I'll make up the time in traffic, and then felt your whole nervous system spike when you hit the red light you didn't expect to? That's not bad math, and it's not laziness. It is an executive functioning challenge that is related to time management. And if you have ADHD, chances are that you've been up against this your entire life without even realizing that it's happening to you. Today, we're talking about why rushing feels so unavoidable, why time scarcity isn't actually the problem that you think it is, and what happens in your brain and your business when you finally trade hustle for patience. This is episode 20. Time scarcity isn't real, but your fight or flight is. Last week, I met with my mindset coach to get some help in managing what I called time scarcity. This is the thought: I have too much to do and not enough time to do it in. To be honest, I've battled this thought most of my adult life, and I bet you've experienced this at some time also. The problem is that when I think this thought, my reaction is to spend the time that I do have running around and rushing to get things done because the fear is now planted in my brain that there is real danger of not finishing something in time. And if that is true, that there is indeed more that absolutely has to be worked on than I have time to work on it, then that sounds like I'm going to be in real trouble. This stress to outrun the perceived danger means that I not only have a dysregulated brain, but I also start to think that if I were better at this, I wouldn't keep running out of time. So I'm feeling bad about myself and trying to fix it by hustle and force. Does this sound familiar to you at all? For most people with ADHD, being in this state of fight or flight can feel so common that we often don't even realize that we're even in it. We're so used to rushing to get finished with the thing that we think is causing the stress that we don't realize that it is our thought patterns and our nervous system reactions that are the real culprit. But just having this information alone wasn't enough to bring me out of fight or flight. And it certainly isn't helping me to get more accomplished in my day. I realized when I brought this to my coach that what I really wanted was for her to give me this magic formula for being able to get more done in the same 24 hours a day, or help me to bend the space-time continuum so I could have it all and have it right now. Instead, she talked to me about my needing to have patience. That was not what I wanted to hear from her right now, and it's hardly an option when you're caught up in dysregulation, but it was exactly what I needed. It sounded ridiculous once I finally figured out that this was really what I was looking for from her, but honestly, who hasn't felt some version of this at some point in time? I mean, think of all the movies that have been put out that have some version of time travel, or think of all of the superhero multiverse movies that there are. But my favorite is that time turner that Hermione used in Harry Potter. Now, seriously, if I could be any character, it would have been her using this time turner to get more done in the same amount of time that all the other students were able to because she had this little magic device. But the problem is, time turning isn't real, and various versions of magical thinking are the things that get us in trouble with our time management. The term magical thinking was first introduced to me by my coach trainer as something that a lot of us experience. It's when you're expecting something that just can't be real, but for some reason we would like it to be, so we think that it is. Like when you have to be somewhere at a certain time and you leave just a few minutes before you have to be there, even though the drive alone is longer than you've left yourself, and you leave no accounting for traffic problems, or what if there's no place to park and you end up having to walk a long distance? Did that sound a little too specific? Yes, that is what happened to me. I had a time when I had to get to the doctor's office, and I left in what I thought was just the right amount of time. I got there and I was already stressed out because I knew I had just barely left enough time. Well, the front parking lot next to the door that I needed to enter was completely full. So I drove to the next parking lot. And then I drove around and around, and there was no place. I had to get over to the third parking lot before I found a spot and then walk a long distance into the building. By the time I got up to check in for my doctor's appointment, I looked at the receptionist and said, "There is no place to park out there." And she just looked at me with a blank stare, like, "Yeah, and that is not my problem." And then I was really embarrassed with how I had behaved in front of her because I expected everything to just flow smoothly and didn't leave myself time for little inevitabilities that always seem to happen. I was experiencing magical thinking when I just assumed that it would all work out, but I didn't leave time for obstacles that come up when traveling more often than I would like them to. Too often, we fall into the erroneous belief that if we just rush to get a few more things done before we leave, then hurry up on the way to the next thing, that we'll actually be able to get more done than is possible or get where we need to faster than the traffic and the conditions will allow for. But the truth is that sometimes it works, and that's why we keep doing it. But the rushing and taking the gamble that you can beat the clock this time is adding to that adrenaline rush that pushes you into dysregulation more and more often. When you treat every day like a race, trying to get just one more thing done before quitting time, you find yourself pushing the limits of the day and your energy levels. Then panic because you promised your partner that you would be home on time for once this week. Sometimes we wear busy like a label, and why not? We work hard. We're trying to grow something big and meaningful. I heard an entrepreneur on the edge of burnout yesterday say, "I give 150% upfront so that I can give 100% later." This pushed him into fight or flight. It damaged relationships and it hurt his ability to think strategically and make the best choices for the growth of this business. This push and hustle is what sends us into fight or flight, which turns off the higher reasoning skills that are needed to make more real, meaningful progress in our business. It's also what is needed to be able to develop systems and routines that will bring steady progress that gets you all the way to your goals for your business. I think this is what my coach was telling me when she said that I needed to embrace patience as a business strategy. That doesn't mean that I don't work or that I stop trying, but it does mean recognizing my own limitations and working within them. If we approach working while in fight or flight, that push and hustle actually causes us to miss steps, not pay attention to the passing of time, and they add to that poor time management that you were rushing to try to get on top of in the first place. Poor time management for people with ADHD and executive functioning challenges doesn't happen because we can't do the math or it's not a lack of intelligence or strategizing skills. Most of the time, it's a sign of dysregulation. Dysregulation meaning that sense of being in fight or flight. It's trying to hustle your way out of feeling like you're not enough or you're not getting enough done, as though you have to race to beat that imaginary window of opportunity before it closes forever and you may never be successful without it. Let me tell you about that window. It is an illusion. Any actual window of opportunity that you do miss is just a window that you weren't supposed to go through. But rushing and running is just leading to burnout, which is more likely to prevent growth and derail your big goals than missing a few opportunities along the way. What if you look at your life as though there is a perfect time for everything that needs to happen, but it probably doesn't look the way that you think it should? What if I don't have to make the time for all the things? I just have to discover when it is the right time to do each part. What if I slow down and decide that whatever I choose to do with my time today that will get me one step closer to my goal will mean that I have had a successful day? Is it really okay not to get 10 or 20 things done in a day if that one step gets me moving in the right direction? Getting just a little bit closer every day will surprisingly move you closer to the goal faster than when you are rushing around trying to do everything all at once. Let me share with you when this happened for me. I started a new position as an analyst at this company, and we were expected to complete 100 tasks per day. They were being counted, they had to do with our bonuses. It needed to be done. So I pushed and stressed and hustled to try to get those tasks done. And pretty soon I realized it was just stressing me out. The headaches were out of control. I felt my stomach constantly in knots from that fight or flight. So I decided this wasn't working for me. I intentionally slowed down and looked at each task specifically and strategically and tried to take care of what needed to be done a little at a time. I took my time and made it make sense. And guess what happened? In the course of 1 year, I had this huge area which had been a mess for everyone for so long. Nobody wanted it, which was kind of why it got dumped on me. That entire area was completely cleaned up. I had to go back to the director and say, I need you to give me something to do. I have nothing to do. Everything's completely done. She looked at me dumbfounded because this had never happened before. Because I was slow and strategic and careful, I made sure that I caught the patterns that needed to be caught and got everything done. I actually did get more done in that period of time than I could have if I were rushing and trying to hustle to get it all completed. There is a big difference between hastily rushing around just to get a lot of work done in a day and working slowly with intention, making sure that the things that you do choose to spend your time doing are things that have the biggest impact on the success of your business. When you're regulated, you have a better understanding of what's really important for the long-term health of the business. From this state, you'll be able to create more efficiency in your business than rushing around will ever do for you. Getting into this regulated state can take time, especially if you've been operating in ADHD dysregulation most of your life and probably not knowing it, but it is possible. The first step is recognizing it. Watch for when you're rushing around worried about not getting things done. Then pay attention to the times when you find that you're easily agitated, maybe by people in your life or in your business, or maybe you find yourself getting caught up in some all or nothing thinking, like either I have to finish this whole project today or I won't even start it at all. These are all signs that you may be dysregulated. At this point, I want you to stop and look inside yourself for just 1 minute. One short break is not going to ruin your day, but if you're in fight or flight, it might feel like it will. So you'll have to be really intentional at this point and tell yourself, this is only a short break to check in with my nervous system. Then pay close attention to your physical body. Is your heart racing? Are your shoulders tense and up around your ears? Do you feel pressure in your head, or knots in your stomach, or tightness in your chest? If you feel any of these things, then name it. I might be in fight or flight right now, or I think I'm feeling a little bit dysregulated. Then, being really careful not to judge yourself for it, take a deep breath. This is really common for ADHDers, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Accepting this about yourself is the first step to getting out of it. Then choose what is one simple thing that you want to do right now without putting any pressure on yourself. This isn't asking, what do I have to do right now? But what do I think is best for me, my business, or my current situation that I want to do right now? Then take one step at a time, trusting yourself that you will know what to do next when you get to that point. Time will be more on your side when you're worried less about it because you're regulated more. Time management is a struggle for a lot of us, but it doesn't have to mean something about you. You don't have to own time scarcity like I thought I did when I brought it to my coach. As a matter of fact, this coach told me that I am no longer allowed to use the word time scarcity, so I'm cheating by sharing it with you. But I invite you to hear it and then write it off also. The truth is, We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and we do have choices for how we're going to use it. Getting out of fight or flight will put you in a better position to be more strategic with your time and more confident in your ability to use it wisely. You can do it. Take a big breath and get out there and do what you need to one step at a time, trusting that you will get time back on your side as long as you keep awareness as a part of the equation. And thank yourself for taking the time to listen to this podcast and learn a little more about how time scarcity affects your business and how to get some of that time back. If you'd like some help with getting regulated and managing your time, I would like to offer you a free consultation where you'll be able to walk away with some immediate help that is specific to your needs to help you start feeling better about how you use your time in your business. Look for the link in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you soon. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today and you found any of this to be helpful, I invite you to share this episode with a friend who you think could relate to some of these issues. And be sure to follow so that you don't miss an episode. And if you're ready to dive a little deeper, I invite you to book a call with me for a free business strategy analysis and learn one thing that you can start doing immediately that can help you to be more effective in your business. And thank you for being the business leader that you are and for doing the work of building something that helps your customers and makes a difference in the world. Greater success is headed your way because you care enough to invest in getting better at what you do and how you do it. Until next time, I wish you an enjoyable, purpose-filled week.